The late afternoon sun sagged low over the small-town gas station, baking the cracked pavement until it shimmered like a mirage. The station was nothing special, a place people forgot the moment they drove away. But not today. Today, something unforgettable was about to happen. Today, a moment of darkness would meet a storm of salvation. Marissa Cole stood at pump number 4, her old minivan coughing fumes like it was begging for mercy. She fumbled through her worn-out wallet with trembling fingers, counting the last $6.17 she had scraped together. Her hair was messy from a long shift, her uniform still stained from the diner's grill, and her eyes carried the exhaustion of a woman who had fought too many silent battles. A mother with nothing left to give, yet still giving everything. She thought the day couldn't get worse. She was wrong. 3 men swaggered out of the convenience store, loud, arrogant, and hungry for trouble. Their laughter sliced through the empty lot. They circled her like wolves, mocking her clothes, her van, her life. One even tugged at her purse, treating her fear like entertainment. Marissa froze. No one else was around. No one to help. No one to hear her if she screamed. Her heart pounded. Her son's face flashed in her mind. She whispered a prayer, one last, desperate plea from a mother who'd held it together too long. Then came the sound. A low rumble in the distance, growing, deepening, spreading like thunder rolling across the earth. 12 motorcycles, chrome blazing. Engines roaring. Shadows stretching like giants. Hell's angels, and everything, absolutely everything, was about to change. The gas station air was thick with heat and gasoline, the kind that clung to your skin and made every breath taste like metal. Marissa Cole stood alone at pump number 4, her shoulders sagging under the weight of a day that had already bled her dry. She wasn't supposed to be here this late. Her shift had run long because the new girl didn't show up, and her manager refused to let her clock out until every table was wiped, every plate stacked, every corner spotless. Her feet hurt. Her back hurt. Her heart hurt most of all. The back-to-school supply list her son had brought home that morning felt impossible. Notebooks, pencils, glue, sanitizer, folders, shoes, things other parents didn't think twice about. But for her, every item meant another hour she didn't have, another bill she couldn't pay, another corner she'd have to cut. Her minivan rattled like an old tin bucket as she pulled in. She prayed it would stay alive just a little longer, at least until payday. She counted out the coins in her wallet, each clink a reminder of how tightly life had her by the throat. This should get me 3 miles farther than empty, she muttered, but even in her exhaustion, she carried a quiet fire. The kind you see in mothers who've been knocked down but refuse to stay on the ground. The kind who get up for their children even when the world tries to break them. That fire, however, flickered when the store's glass door banged open. 3 men stepped out, not the type who held doors open or nodded politely. No, these men came with swagger, cockiness, and the entitled confidence of people who believed the world owed them something. Tattoos stretched across their arms, cigarettes dangled from their lips, and their laughter was sharp enough to cut. One crushed a soda can beneath his boot. Another spit onto the concrete. The third nudged his friends and pointed at Marissa with a smirk. Easy target, he snorted. They approached, slow, deliberate, predatory. Hey sweetheart, one called. You look a little down on your luck. Marissa stiffened. She kept her eyes on the pump, pretending she didn't hear, but they kept coming. Nice ride you got there, the tallest one teased, tapping her rusty van. What's holding it together? Hope? Wishes? Tape? His friends burst into cruel laughter. Marissa's fingers shook around the gas nozzle. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She scanned the lot, empty. No cars at the pumps. No cashier outside. No one pulling in. It was just her and them, not talking. Another said, stepping closer. We're just trying to have some fun. He tugged her purse strap, she gasped and jerked away. They laughed harder, fear wrapped around her like a vice. She thought of her son waiting at home, probably coloring pictures on the kitchen table, probably wondering when dinner was coming. She couldn't afford hospital bills. She couldn't afford to lose her purse. She couldn't afford anything. Please, she whispered. Just leave me alone. Oh, relax, the leader chuckled. We're being friendly. Friendly, the word twisted like a blade, and then, the rumble began. At first faint, just a vibration beneath the ground, then louder, and louder, until the air itself seemed to shake. 12 motorcycles stormed down the road in formation, glinting chrome catching the sun like flashes of lightning. Their engines growled with a depth that made even the sky seem smaller. The Hell's Angels. The men's smirks died instantly. Marissa's breath caught in her throat. She'd heard stories, legends, warnings. But nothing prepared her for the sight of them: leather cuts, heavy boots, and expressions carved from stone. They pulled into the station with the precision of a military unit, circling around before parking in a straight, intimidating line. It was like watching a thunderstorm roll in, a force of nature claiming the ground it touched. The leader stepped off his Harley. He wasn't just tall. He was imposing. Broad shoulders, beard streaked with silver, eyes like cold steel forged in a lifetime of battles. His presence alone pushed the air out of the space. He saw the situation instantly. He didn't hesitate. He didn't question. He moved. The other bikers followed, forming a semicircle around Marissa, a wall of leather, steel, and silent warning. The thug stepped back immediately. Hey, we were just messing around, the tall one stammered. No harm meant. The leader didn't speak. He didn't need to. His stare said everything. Leave, now. The men swallowed hard. Sweat gleamed on their temples. They backed away one step at a time, then faster. They practically dove into their car. Tires screeched as they fled the parking lot, disappearing into the road like frightened animals. Silence followed, heavy, thick, powerful. Marissa exhaled shakily. Her knees weakened. She clutched the pump like it was the only solid thing left. Then the leader turned to her. She expected judgment, pity, something that would remind her she was small, fragile, insignificant, but his gaze held none of that. Instead, she saw respect. He nodded at her. Slow. Intentional. You're safe now, he finally said, voice deep as the engine he rode. We saw enough. One of the bikers stepped forward, hands rough but gentle, slipping folded bills into her hand discreetly. Another popped the hood of her van without asking, checking wires, tightening bolts, topping off her oil from a can he carried like it was habit to help strangers. They didn't talk much, they didn't need to, their actions spoke louder than any words. For the first time in years, Marissa felt something overwhelming, not fear, not shame, but genuine human kindness. Warmth filled her chest. Tears escaped her eyes before she could stop them. I don't know what to say, she whispered. You don't have to say anything, the leader replied. When they finished, they mounted their bikes again, engines revving like thunder preparing to roll on. Before he rode off, the leader looked back at her one last time. Keep going, he said. You're stronger than you think. Then, in a roar of engines and a blur of chrome, they disappeared down the highway. Marissa stood alone again, but she wasn't the same. Something inside her had shifted, a reminder that the world still held warriors of light in unexpected forms. That even in the darkest moments, goodness could appear like a storm on the horizon, and that sometimes, angels ride on motorcycles.